All offseason, we kept hearing about this fast-paced, new and improved Miami Heat offense, and honestly, I was a bit skeptical because our roster is still pretty similar to how it ended last season, outside of Norman Powell and some improvements to the young guys. But those guys have actually improved this team's offense, and we've seen that so far throughout the preseason, specifically last night against the Spurs. So in today's video, I want to break down exactly why I'm optimistic about the future of the Miami Heat's offense. So there's going to be a couple of things that we note multiple times throughout this video, and that's going to be the improved tempo of the Miami Heat, but also their ability to create paint touches, really unlocking the offense. In this first clip, you're going to see a great pass from Nikola Jovic leading to the Norman Powell floater. Powell does a great job to pump fake off the hard Wemby closeout, who jumps for some reason. Like, Wemby is 6'5", he probably shouldn't be jumping on this closeout, but because he had to recover so hard, he jumps. That's going to leave Norman Powell wide open for the floater, which is an important shot for him to hit. As I've been saying, he's more than just a shooter because he can do things like this. And that floater is so important because he's going to see a lot of hard closeouts. This will allow him just to get a few easy buckets like he does right here. And this whole play starts with Nikola Jovic in the corner. You're going to see Devin Vassell coming out hard to guard him. He's guarding him all the way at the three-point line because he knows that Jovic can shoot. And that goes to the importance of being able to shoot, creating that sort of space. This is going to allow Jovic to get a hard drive baseline where Harrison Barnes, who was originally guarding Norman Powell, is going to be the help defender here, which is what leaves Norman Powell wide open for this floater. But it's not just Barnes that helps. On this drive by Jovic, you're going to see Wemby also help here, leaving Bam wide open. This is one of the things that we talk about when if Bam can keep improving his top of the key three-point shot, which he wasn't bad at last year, eventually guys like Wemby is here. They'll stop helping off him, giving Jovic even another option. Because another thing I want to note too is Andrew Wiggins, who shows some pretty good basketball IQ this play. Once he sees Jovic cut to the paint, get that paint touch, Wiggins himself is going to cut to the paint to maybe be a dump off man. But once Wiggins realizes that Wemby is right there to help, Wiggins is going to back up to create that space now, which allows Norman Powell to drive and pretty much have no contest, other than the Harrison Barnes trying to recover. But at this point, even if Barnes can recover, you got Devin Vassell on Bam Adebayo's back. So if Norman misses, Bam is going to get that rebound. And there's just no way that the Heat weren't going to score on this play after that paint touch from Nikola Jovic. This next clip is a great example of the faster tempo, but also how Bam Adebayo's aggressiveness can really unlock this offense. You're going to see Bam be aggressive in transition, find Wiggins wide open, who then swings it to Drew Smith wide open in the corner, who knocks it down. And this all starts because Bam took the ball in transition. He was looking to make a move, dribbles hard inside here. You're going to have Keldon Johnson help onto him, which was originally Wiggins' man, which is going to leave Wiggins wide open. Bam finds him because he's such a great passer. And now Devin Vassell is going to have to leave Drew Smith to guard Wiggins. Wiggins does a great swing to Drew Smith, who knocks it down, who was a pretty efficient shooter last year when healthy. So if he can keep hitting that shot, he'll obviously be a great rotation piece for this team. But another thing I want to note is that Drew Smith wasn't the only option here. You're going to see Wiggins get the ball right here, but Harrison Barnes is also right here. He also helped slightly on Bam's drive, meaning Nikola Jovic is wide open at the top of the key, which is as good as gold. So Wiggins has a few options here. He gives it to Drew Smith, who knocks it down. But the other thing I want to note is look who's in the other corner. It's Norman Powell, who we know is a certified sniper, meaning that Wemby is not going to help onto Bam. Look how hard Wemby is guarding Powell in the corner. When Bam drives, Wemby does a little half-ass soft swipe just to apply a little bit of pressure, but he's not really helping because he is committed to Norman Powell, and he knows that if he helps fully on Bam here, Norman Powell is going to be wide open in the corner, which he just cannot allow. So this aggressiveness from Bam plus the great spacing from Powell in the corner led to this wide open three from Drew Smith, and of course, he knocks it down. And now we have another great fast tempo clip in which defense led to offense. As the old saying goes, the best offense is a good defense. And you're going to see that right here as Kasparas gets the steal and he's going to find Keshad Johnson under the rim for a pretty nice fast break conversion, which is not something the Heat have been very good at for the last several years. They've been very bad in transition, but having a guy that can run the floor like Kasparas and an athlete like Keshad could certainly help those type of things. Right here, it's going to start with Carter Bryant, like 40 feet from the rim, with Keshad Johnson guarding him out there. Carter Bryant is really not that great a shooter. If I'm Keshad, I probably wouldn't start by guarding him this deep from the paint. But Keshad is a pretty athletic defender. He's pretty good laterally, so I get it. He knows that he can recover if Carter Bryant were to drive. But what Kasparas is going to do is he's going to do a great job fighting over the screen from Luke Kornet, and that's not going to allow the Spurs defender to get the leverage that he thought he would have. See, Kasparas fights hard over the Kornet screen and then does a great job using his right hand to swipe the ball away, so he makes sure he doesn't foul the Spurs player, draws 2 defenders on the fake there, and then does a beautiful dime to Keshad Johnson, who probably hasn't had an easier basket in his life, but this just goes to show the great defense by Kasparas can help the transition offense as well. And by the way, I noticed that right now on FanDuel, the sponsor of today's video, you can get Kasparas at plus 8,000 to win Rookie of the Year. I don't necessarily love those odds because I'm not sure exactly how big a role he's going to have on the team this season, but those are the 10th best odds, and I think that's respect by FanDuel, given Kasparas was the 20th pick in the draft. So I do appreciate that, FanDuel. And this next clip is truly the highlight of the game, in which Jaime Jaquez Jr. threw the hammer down on Wembanyama, but this whole play started because of the great dribble penetration from Kasparas. You're going to see him get a hard drive here, draw a couple of defenders, and that's going to leave Jaime Jaquez wide open with the well-timed cut, and he's going to just use his athleticism to hammer it down. I want to note how right here at the beginning of the clip, once Kasparas gets that leverage past his defender, you're going to see Carter Bryant point. He's pointing to Champagnie saying, hey, you got to help on the drive here so Kasparas can't get the layup. So when Champagnie goes to help, Carter Bryant is now going to rotate to Keshad Johnson going baseline here, and that's how Jaime gets wide open without a defender, really within 5 feet of him, and that's all the lane he needs to get to the rim. The timing of the cut here from Keshad is not great because the paint is a little bit clogged. There's basically 4 defenders in the paint when Jaime tries finishing this. But that again goes to the limitations of Keshad Johnson, who's not a great corner shooter, which is why he feels the need to cut here instead of sitting in the corner to provide that space. You're actually going to see him throw his hand up here because he's thinking maybe he wants the lob, which maybe it's there. You know, I could see him getting backdoor here, getting behind Champagnie and kind of sitting in that dunker spot. But the point is, the offense is just better if they have an actual corner shooter for this play, because then instead of having Champagnie help here at all, he would have to be glued to the corner. Instead, you see him all the way in the paint because he knows Keshad is not really a threat from the outside. But regardless, the Heat were still able to finish, and it all starts because of this paint touch from Kasparas, who shows great vision to get Jaime there, who has the slam. Love this play right here. And in this next clip, you're going to see Jaime be the one to initiate the dribble penetration as he finds Pelle wide open in the corner, who knocks it down. You're going to see the paint touch here, draw 3 Spurs defenders. Maybe he has the lob to Ware right here, but because Wemby is so tall, Jaime is kind of close to Ware. The lob might have been tough, so instead he finds Pelle, who's able to knock it down. That's such a critical shot for Pelle to hit, like Keshad Johnson, like Kasparas. If these guys could develop that shot, it's really going to open up this offense so much more, because the Spurs defender here is even going to run out to contest Pelle because he knows Kasparas is not necessarily a threat out here. But eventually, if these guys are able to shoot and this help defense doesn't come, that's just going to open up the paint for Jaime Jaquez, who we know is best when attacking. And if he has a lane to attack, that's when I think we'll start to see Jaime Jaquez turn into the player that we saw his rookie season. And now we have another great example of defense leading to offense. Kel'el Ware is going to show great discipline to stay down on the Wembanyama fake, then great timing to get the ball, leading to a fast break this time. Again, perfectly executed. This time it's going to be Kasparas who throws a nice pass underneath the defense here and finds Jaime Jaquez in transition, where he really is at his best when he attacks. There's the fake by Wembanyama. You get a small hop from Kel'el Ware, but he doesn't completely sell out, doesn't jump on top of Wemby to foul him or anything like that. Then does a great job to stay down because Ware also knows that he's 7 feet tall. He may be a little shorter than Wemby, but he's still 7 feet tall. You don't need to jump all crazy all the time to block these shots. He's able to get this block from a stationary position. He's going to find Jaime Jaquez, who immediately takes off. And look at this. You got a couple of athletes here between Jaime and Keshad. One way or another, the Heat were going to finish this fast break, and this is another great play on both sides of the ball from the Miami Heat. Some more defense to offense, except this time the defense is coming from Kasparas, who, my God, I've been so impressed with what he can bring on the defensive end. I know Pelle ends up missing this shot, But the important thing is how well they executed this play up until the finish. Again, it goes back to Pelle needing to improve his jump shot. But if he can, this will be there all the time, as you're going to see Kasparas run out hard to contest this and then does a great job to recover on the drive, blocks the shot off the hard drive from the Spurs player. Kel'el Ware is going to get the ball, immediately push pace to Jaime Jaquez. You got athletes all over the place. Jaquez is going to find Ware, who is a very underrated passer. Like, Kel'el Ware has been a great connective passer in this league. I think it's one of the most underrated parts of his game. He's more versatile than just a 7-foot athletic player. He's going to find Pelle Larsson wide open here, who doesn't hit this one, but if he keeps working on that shot, this will be there all the time. That's such an incredible block from Kasparas to close out hard on the three-pointer and then recover on the drive and block the shot. Like, who knew Kasparas could do this kind of thing? And I'm very excited to see him do more of this. He's got to get some minutes with the Heat. He's got to. After doing stuff like this, you got to. Now we're going to see Pelle get the paint touch, which leads to the Kel'el Ware lob, a pretty decently executed pick and roll. But Kel'el Ware's catch radius is insane. Like, he caught this over a 7-foot Luke Kornet, who's actually a relatively decent shot blocker. This is a very tough finish from Kel'el Ware that we're seeing consistently. The one thing I want to note, though, is the contact or lack thereof from this screen by Kel'el Ware. You see he kind of slips early, doesn't draw any contact here. I mean, it still provides enough of a barricade to give Pelle the leverage to come around here and eventually get into the paint. But I think one of the things that Spoelstra really hones in on practice or in these interviews when he says, I want to see the little things from Kel'el Ware, this is what he's talking about. Getting contact on the screen is something I think he'll continue to work on, because then Pelle will be even more wide open here. Regardless, he gets the dribble penetration. Luke Kornet is in no man's land here. Pelle has the lob, or he has the floater. He decides to throw the lob, and look at that. 7-foot athletic freak. You're not doing anything about that, Luke Kornet. This is a very exciting play. But now this next play is where things really start to get excited, as you had a beautiful dime from Jovic, who found Ware on the corner, took advantage of the hard closeout from Kornet, and slammed it right on the defender's head. You're going to see initially there's 3 defenders eyeing Nikola Jovic here in the paint. And that's because Jovic early on is looking for that paint touch. He's looking to post up the smaller Devin Vassell, something that Jovic has been very good at, punishing a mismatch, because let's not forget, Jovic is also 6'10", 6'11". He will body smaller defenders, and because of that, there's 3 Spurs players in the paint. That's going to leave Kel'el Ware wide open out here. Luke Kornet's unathletic ass does his best to contest out hard. Because Kel'el Ware already hit 2 threes earlier in this game, he has to close out hard, but Ware doesn't settle. He's going to do an excellent job getting right into the paint, and yeah, good luck stopping that. All-around beautiful play that was set up because of the paint touch from Jovic and the excellent shooting early on from Kel'el Ware. And while that last pass was nice, this one from Jovic is even better, or should I say Jokic, because that's exactly the type of pass that we saw right here, as he's going to whip it to Drew Smith, who's going to knock down another triple. The spacing on this play isn't great for the Heat. You're going to see like Wiggins, Bam, and Ware all in the paint at the same time. But the play once again starts because Jovic is taking the advantage of the smaller player. He's going to have Champagnie on him. You're going to see Wemby trying to help because Jovic has the mismatch. Wiggins, once again, is doing a good job moving without the ball to try to be a dump-off man here. But because the paint is so crowded, that's going to leave Drew Smith wide open here, who maybe the pass wasn't perfect. It's not exactly in the shooter's pocket, but that would just be me nitpicking, right? I mean, look at this one-handed swing as he draws 2 defenders right away, doesn't play around with it, gets it over the outstretched arms of Champagnie, who finds Drew Smith right there. Excellent vision, excellent timing, excellent from everything all around, and these are the plays that really get me excited about Jovic's potential. Now, a bet that I do like on FanDuel is Nikola Jovic at plus 2,500 to win Most Improved Player. Those are the 8th best odds. We've talked about this one before. I do think Jovic is a guy that's going to have a significant role and put up the counting stats. I think he might have a decent shot at this award. And this next clip is just to highlight the great vision and passing accuracy of Kasparas, but also how deadly a duo he's going to be with Kel'el Ware, as he throws this beautiful pass over the rim and Kel'el Ware shows nice touch to put it in. I don't have nothing to say. I don't know what you can do about that. Kel'el Ware is so high up in the air. He hangs in the air with plenty of time to spare. There's nothing. This is literally an unblockable play because Luke Kornet is under the rim. There's no way he can contest this. And for Yakachonis to have basically his back to the basket here and be able to have the touch and vision and even the creativity to do that type of pass, that's just such a deadly duo. When you talk about a guy with that kind of vision and creativity and also Kel'el Ware's catch radius, I mean, I hope this is a play that we see for 15, 20 years. I really do. And this time it's going to be Keshad Johnson who gets the paint touch. He's going to find Kel'el Ware, who finds Caspers, who knocks down a beautiful looking sidestep three. Keshad's going to get the ball right here, pretty far from the three-point line. No reason for the Spurs defender to guard him this far out. He's not a threat from there. Nevertheless, he does. Keshad gets the leverage he needs to get to the rim, draws the help defense from Luke Kornet, so Keshad is going to find Kel'el Ware, who does a great swing pass to Caspers. As we said earlier, Kel'el Ware is an excellent connective passer because as soon as he draws three defenders right here, he hits Caspers right away. There's going to be a hard closeout from Carter Bryant, so Caspers does a left side step to get wide open and knocks it down. He probably even had Norman Powell on this three wide open. Maybe that's the better play because you're going to see Carter Bryant help off Norman, who's wide open here. And obviously, you would prefer Norman take this shot. But I'm going to give the rookie credit for having the confidence to shoot this, especially the nice looking sidestep. I love to see that confidence from him because he could have easily passed it up. Instead, he wanted the ball, and I respect that from him. And he deserves it. He had like 10 assists and 3 turnovers. Get a couple shots up too, Casper. So I'm not mad at it at all. Beautiful looking shot, and he sits there and knocks it down. Now let's get into some more of that connection between Caspers and Kel'el, as you're going to see a nice pick and roll and great touch from Kel'el on the jumper. Kel'el's going to do a good job getting contact on that screen up here. He's going to sit there and perfectly time his cut to be wide open in the middle of the paint. Does a great spin move over the left shoulder to finish with the floater. And this is just, again, great timing and chemistry between these two. Basic pick and roll, and the timing is everything there. They execute it perfectly. My one gripe with this play is Keshad Johnson is kind of hanging out the entire time in the paint, leading to pretty poor spacing. You see 4 Spurs defenders in the area. And again, I'm just not super optimistic about Keshad playing because the jump shot is not there enough, and he kind of clogs up the paint a bit too much for my liking. And let's get into even more of that connection. This time you're going to see Caspers pushing the ball quick in transition. He's going to draw a few defenders and find Kel'el Ware at the top of the key, who takes advantage of a hard closeout once again. Caspers is being guarded all the way behind half court for some reason, but he continues putting on the pressure as he tries speeding up the pace of this team. He's going to draw a couple of defenders here because he has his man initially beat. Look at the angle on this pass. 2 hands behind his head to Kel'el Ware, who's wide open at the top of the key. He's not going to settle for the jumper because he sees slow-ass Bismack Biyombo trying to run out to contest, and he's going to take advantage of that by driving right past him and finishing with beautiful touch on the left-hand shot. Do y'all know how tough this is for a 7-footer to jump from all the way out here and just the finesse it takes to finish with the left hand? This is a great job by Kel'el not to settle, and another great finish by him. Here's Caspers once again getting pressured. He's going to draw that paint touch, draw a bunch of defenders, and find who else but Kel'el Ware. Once again, you see him for some reason getting pressured so far in the backcourt. I don't know why. But because he is pushing pace and he's a pretty decent ball handler, he's able to blow right past his man, get that paint touch, draw Bismack Biyombo. So that leaves Kel'el Ware wide open, and just it's like clockwork, these two. It's like clockwork. Wide open, same thing time and time again, all from that paint touch. Nice job by Kel'el Ware to finish the easy dunk. Same thing on this clip. I don't need to keep going into detail because y'all get it by now. You're going to get a great paint touch off the hard drive from Caspers. There's the paint touch. Nobody picks up Kel'el Ware, and Ware shows great touch on the 10-foot floater. That's also very tough for a big man. 7-footer, just to put it up that soft with that kind of high arc. There's no guarding this. There's just really not. And I love seeing the chemistry that these two have on the court. Another great play. And all of that great passing from Caspers earlier led to this beautiful fadeaway late in the game to tie the game. Just a ball shot by Caspers to tie it up with just over 6 minutes to go. And what you're going to see this time is the play starts with another great drive, hard drive by Caspers to get that paint touch. Biyombo is initially looking like he's going to step up, but then he remembers he kept leaving Kel'el Ware wide open, so he's going to back up a little bit right there. Watch how he initially helps on Caspers and then remembers, oh, I got to look for the dump off. He's going to back up right there. So what Caspers is going to do is he's going to spin over that left shoulder and settle for this nice looking fadeaway. Great elevation on that shot and just huge confidence by the rookie to knock it down. This is why it is important to set your teammates early because it will open up the opportunities to score late. And finally, for the last clip of this video, why not end up on another Kasparas to Khalil Ware lob? This time, just a nasty finish by Khalil Ware, who gets up so damn high and finishes with one hand. Kasparas is going to do another hard drive. This time, a pretty decent screen from Khalil, unlike the first one we looked at where there was no contact. There's a lot of contact here. Maybe a moving screen, but this one is tricky to call because it's not like Khalil's moving on the screen. He's more so rolling to the basket and getting in the defender's way. Sometimes they'll call this a moving screen. You really got to get your feet set if you're Khalil. I think that he rolls here kind of early. But it doesn't matter. He gets the contact on that screen. That's going to leave Kasparas wide open on the drive here, who throws a perfectly timed floater. Look when he throws this. The ball is already basically 10 feet in the air, and Khalil Ware is still on the ground, yet he times it up perfectly and throws it right at the rim. This is pinpoint accuracy from Kasparas, and obviously makes Khalil Ware's job very easy there. But that's all I gotta say for this video. Let me know y'all thoughts down below. Do you think Khalil Ware deserves to start? And do you think Kasparas deserves to be in the rotation right away? I'm very curious to hear what y'all think. Make sure y'all like and subscribe because your support is greatly appreciated, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.
Look, pull up in your city trying to get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.